Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mark. You might know me from my gamer persona, Crisis 169. I'm here this month because it is September 1st to talk about suicide prevention and a new series that I call Suicide and Death Who Does It Hurt? It's a new series. This is season 1, episode 1. My mother's my mother's death and how how I've been dealing with it. Not just me, but my whole entire family. My father's been heartbroken since he lost his wife. Um, to go back in time here, to take Doc Brown time machine to go back in time. Um, the year is 2025. The date was February 26th. That was a Wednesday. My mother was taken out of a nursing home type of rehabilitation area and sent back to Ternovo. That is a hospital here in Clarksville, Tennessee, because she had a low oxygen count in her blood, and they emergency and sent her to the hospital. Um, and my mother and my father was upset because she did code. She went to cardiac arrest. I mean, she coded. She flatlined. You want to call it that way? Um, she coded. She flatlined a few times, um, and it'd been a real rough time because my mom had a lot of issues. And she made it through, December, um, Christmas, Thanksgiving. She hasn't felt time. She's been in the hospital, in and out of the hospital for a while. She had UTI infection that came and went. This time it came back, and it wasn't the one that done her in, but it was something that was very rough to understand. If people can get that, um, I think if people need to understand that more often, um, that death is something that happens. But my family and I, we all been pretty much broken, but we've gotten through it. But we still remember that day. Like it was like it was yesterday. I was home Wednesday. I was probably home sleeping because I worked nights at the time. I recently got off nights around July 5th of this year. So I've been working, nights a lot and sleeping, as much as I could. And my father was upset, very hysterical. Well, rightfully so. Anybody would be hysterical if their husband or wife of 50 years plus, 60 years plus, is coding and pretty much it's, coming to the end of the road. Anybody, I don't care who you are, you're me, you're you, whoever, is going to lose their minds. It's going to have, a hard time dealing with it because that's just the way it is. It's a hard time to deal with. Um, and that what it was. And she was, and since a coding out, what they call coding out, she was flatlining. And they brought her back, and she was in ICU. I went to see her, but she was in a sleep state. They put her under. Um, and I didn't go see her that much until the 28th. 28th, I went back to my dad's like, hey, mom coded again. And he's all emotional. Of course, like I said, if I had anybody married, if I married somebody and then that person was dying, I'll be losing my mind too. And there's no doubt about that. This is a very somber video. There ain't gonna be no haha laugh giggling. It's not a funny video. You're looking for a funny video, then you go somewhere else because this is not it. Um, but that whole day was just a weird day to me. The 28th, because I was up all night Thursday, and I didn't go to sleep at all. And that Friday, the 28th, I went there. I was there, I think like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning or 8 in the morning, what it was. And I was there for like 6 o'clock at night. I had to go feed the dogs. It was almost 8 o'clock, so I went home to feed the dog, and I took a nap. Now I was in the, we had sandwiches from a restaurant place or whatever before I left. About maybe maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. We were hungry, we were starving, but we were there for my mother. We were trying to, hopefully our mother would make it through. My sister being optimistic, but something inside me said this is it. Something told me in the end. Something told me, Holy Spirit, Lord, who you want to say about that? Told this kept you know like this is the end. So something is going to happen. And I prayed to God. I said, Lord, if it's my mother's time, let her go in peace, no pain. But if your will for her to survive and make a recovery and defeat this, we thought it was UTI, this UTI infection, then your glory to your high name, and you will be exalted and praised. Because I would pray for the Lord on Facebook, not caring who saw it. I don't care who anybody says. I pray Jesus Christ is my Savior, regardless if you like it or not. I don't care. Um, I prayed about it when I was standing over my mother, just praying. I said, Lord, if your will for her to go, let her go quickly. But if your will to perform a miracle, we are watching. And we didn't know how severe it was until later on. But not something that we'll find out later on how severe it was. Um, but going through that kind of stuff, though, you really kind of think back to a lot of things. You try to think back to a lot of ways of doing stuff. You try to think ways, or think back we could have done it differently. And we all sat there. Now, my older brother couldn't make it because he had COVID. My mother and him both had COVID, so we had to wear a mask to go see her. And my brother had to stay home, and that was rough because he talked to my mother on the phone, and my mother nodded her head that she heard them, so she was hearing us. Uh, so even in a death, hours away, you still hear. So that was a good reassuring thing that she was hearing us. And I told her I loved her, and Mom, we can fight through this. Um, but sometimes parents understand. We have to understand that when parents go away, when parents pass away, it's up us to rise up from the ashes of the phoenix and go off and to do great things. Our parent, your parents, my parents, everybody's parents has hopefully instilled in you, instilled in me, the understanding of pushing forward and getting myself to the next level, wherever that is. It could be anywhere. It doesn't matter. It can be in business, it can be in job, it can be in school, it can be in health and fitness, whatever. But your parents are the ones constantly, chastising you, but also and cheering you on because they're trying to get you to motivate yourself to move forward. Everybody else is, oh, you're fine. Yeah, you weigh 600 pounds and you can't leave the house. That's not fine. Um, or you're anorexic and you're starving yourself to that. That's not fine. Your parents are the one that are pushing. Hey, you need to go lose weight. You need to go gain weight. You need to go, try to go to college. You can get this job. Check this out. Your parents are encouraging you. We think, oh, it's chastisement because mom and dad are constantly poking us. Well, they're cattle prodding us because they're trying to get us to do something with our lives and not sit around and be couch potatoes and just be living off of whatever. Everybody's parents hopefully does that. I don't want, my parents were that way. They didn't want us to be couch potatoes. They didn't want us to be just nine to fivers, unless that's in the cards. If it's in our cards, and whatever. But they want us to strive to be better than what they were. So they tell us to strive. So I'm staring at my mother, praying. We're going to wait in the room, and we wait around stuff. And of course, another family comes in, different family comes in and stuff, and they're, you know, it's they're I think their loved one, uncle or grandfather, is having the same thing, having health issues. They don't take the ICU because you're healthy. I learned one thing about the ICU. They don't take you there if you're healthy. If you're gonna make it through, they don't take you to the intensive care unit. That right now is not something that I'm hacking at mucus because the damn phlegm won't go away. Um, but if you have somebody in the intensive care unit, and it's usually they're not in good condition at the moment. They can change, obviously. Then they can move to stable condition and move to a regular room. But things happen, and gone through it. And I went home at around 8 o'clock to feed the dogs, 6 o'clock to feed the dogs, 6 o'clock, right, 6, 7 o'clock to feed the dogs, and I took a nap. Went to sleep, took a nap. No sleep aids, took a nap. I was so tired. I woke up at 1 o'clock to a text message on Facebook. It's my brother saying, mom was diagnosed with having sepsis, and she may not make it through the night. I dropped my phone on the floor. Then 12:45. Hate to inform you that my mother went home to the Lord. She passed away from my brother on Facebook. That's how I found out. Then I called my sister to confirm. So yeah, Neil Parchman, funeral home, gonna come get her. They're taking care of the final things, and you can come here and say goodbye to your mom. They'll be here about 30 minutes, and you get here quickly. So I got dressed. I had to, I had to been through the dogs because they're all, what's going on? They're happy, I'm like, okay, guys, leave me alone for a while. Go on, shoot. I went in the car, drove up there. I remember I had to drive all the way around to get to the back side of this place because it's 1 o'clock in the morning on Friday morning. They lock it down like almost like Fort Knox. You either can't walk into the front gate of Fort Knox, or you walk into the front gate of a hospital, front door of a hospital at 12:45, 1 o'clock in the morning. I got there around 1:15, and I was driving not very fast. I wasn't driving fast at all. I was just driving normal speed limit, just sitting there, just thinking, okay, mom passed away. I'm processing all the stuff in my head. I'm processing, trying to process the stuff. I'm still waking up, shaking the cobwebs. I'm groggy as hell, shaking the cobwebs. And this is something I have to do. I have to go see her body for the last time in the hospital. And I went there. I put my hands like this, and I said, goodbye, mom. I miss you. I love you. And it wasn't the last time we saw her, obviously, funeral and all, but last time I saw her in the hospital. And come to find out, she passed away from sepsis. It got into her urinary tract and went into her blood, and that's pretty much all she wrote. And they couldn't stop it, and they tried to. They tried different things, but that septic stuff was just hell hell bent, set in its determined ways to kill my mother. And she was 75 years old, so someone that of that age, usually after 75 years and older, women have more urinary tract infections than men. Obviously, different plumbing, different parts. So it was very rough for a lot of us to deal with that kind of stuff. And and it was rough. I said goodbye to her, and then Neil Parton guy came by, he talked to us, said a prayer, and him and the nurses, I heard them, taking tubes out and taking stuff off, and getting her ready to go into the bag. And then they wear masks, obviously. And the head nurse, and you shoot us out the door. So you need to leave. I saw them, in the black bag coming out of the curtain, but she kind of shooed me away, and she walked in front of the door to keep me from seeing the black bag of my mother's body going wheeling out. Um, like I said, in my younger life, I actually was thinking about going into the mortuary business at one time. I'm still, intrigued by. I watch documentaries all the time about it. Side note, kind of weird, but so I was more intrigued than sad. I mean, kind of morbid to say that, but it's like, this is the final step. After this is funeral, then burial, then we have to build up and move on from this, and and move on and learn to cope with this. So it's very interesting how it happened so quickly. But it wasn't funny. It wasn't, oh my God, this is awesome. No, my mother's dead. I have to sit there and hear the noises of them pulling out the plugs. Like my dad is already walking away, my sister walking away. I kind of slow stepped it a little bit because I was, not intrigued, but just, the process how they move a body. I've seen it before on documentaries. So I kind of know what they had to do, and they go on there and do all the stuff, take stuff out, and of course, they got her in there and stuff, and quote head nurse shooed me out the door, closed it and locked it, and she stood right between the doors. I couldn't see anything. And it's very good call for them because I don't think my family want to see our mother come out the garden in a black bag, in a body bag. No, that would not be something we wanted to see. Um, so kudos to Chernobyl and Clarksville Hospital here for doing that, and also Neil Parchman for taking the care to talk to us. But now I went home after all that. I went home and ordered some dress pants for my mom's funeral, and then the real fun begins. The real horror, the real fun, the real agony, the real issues of grief sets in. We have to deal with the insurance companies, deal with the Neil Parchment pretty quick. They were in and out pretty quickly. The stonecutter people, the stone place, stonecutters are pretty cool too. Big stone. No, we know we all bought our plots together as well. We make one big happy family, married together. I guess I need to say. I'm trying to have some humor in this, but it's just not there today, guys. I'm sorry. It's just I had to literally think about everything that happened and really got me to a not a dark realm, but got me to a gray area, a room where it's gray and not really happy go look colorful, just like serious. So I'm sitting now. I'm sitting there at home. I'm gonna be my game right now. I'm a gamer rig. Typed in where I went to. I bought me some dress pants, dress shirts. It'd be coming in sometime, and no one that wants to, I guess. 7 to 10 days. No, we didn't have an idea when we had the funeral. But we did all this stuff, and we had the funeral on the 10th. On the 10th here, um, that was a Monday. Mom passed away on Friday, 28th. I called work, talked to them that morning, and they approved my pay, my bereavement pay for Saturday and Sunday. Because Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday I took a holiday or vacation day, and I had to fight to get clothes in because the clothes were coming in. Like my brother had to have clothes come in too. He had to have clothes ordered too. So I had to help order his clothes, and then my father bought us jackets for or suit jackets and stuff. And I got my brother nice dress shoes online, got some clothes online. We looked like we're businessmen, and but it was a real rough situation because the 10th we went there. Not a lot of people came to my mom's funeral. A lot of church people from the old church. Hats off to Glory Worship Center. Uh, Thank you, Chris Donaldson, Chris from one church. Thank you guys from other parts who came down there. Thank you, Mike from Lowe's. And Mike I used to work with. He's a nighttime on day touch at weekend day shift now. Thank you for showing up. I know representing Lowe's. Thank you, Lowe's, for the sympathy card. And thank you, Lowe's, for actually working with me. If you guys are watching this, I thank all of you for helping me out. and because it was really needed. It was really rough. That whole time was rough. My sister was, she was, emotional. I was pretty much, shedding tears a little bit. I knew Chris was watching me directly the whole time. I remember looking over and seeing him looking at me, and he gave me a thumbs up and stuff though, and I was doing all right. He did care, and that's pretty cool. That's why I want church to meet in the Global Center, or always going to be right here for me. I mean, in my heart. Both churches are good um, to me. So one church, Global Center. I do thank you, Global Center, and one church for representing both your entities, your church, and thank you guys for. And also, All Smiles Dentistry. I do appreciate you guys sending me a sympathy card. The family. Um, a couple shout outs to All Smile Dentistry. That thing, Clarksville, Tennessee. Very very good dentist, by the way. A little plug there, and it's lame, but whatever. All Smile Dentistry. Uh, Neil Parchman, did an excellent job. Um, Mel from Global Center came over. Mel, my father used to be in the same unit in the army, so that when my father come over all the time to church, 'cause he went to, my dad went to a Baptist church. And Mel would be sitting down talking all the time about stuff, all the time. And my mother and Mel's wife would be talking all the time too, and me and Mel Jr. and Brian would be running around church having a good time. And it's in the good old days when when you're young and had to worry about anything. So I thank all you guys. I thank all of you that I mentioned. Um, and even some people online here gave me sympathy. I appreciate you guys on my channel. Even the people on Facebook, I do appreciate all you guys. Um, and I do love all you guys. And it's been rough. It's been pretty rough, but we've gotten through it. I go to see my mom's grave every Monday. Stone's still not there. Then again, there was a lot of new graves there, so there's a lot of people. So it's going to take about 10 months to get the headstone there and get the main stone. So it'd be a while. But I still see her every Monday. I go up to the grave and I talk to her. Hey, mom, here. About 10 minutes every Monday, and every Monday around 12 o'clock or so, I go up there and talk to her. And then I usually drive around the other graveyard and see other grave sites. There's Civil War people there too. I'm a Civil War fanatic. So, I love Civil War stuff. So I'm very history fanatic. And the guy that played the side note, the guy that played the Marine Sergeant in Gomer Powell USMC is actually buried right across from my mother is. She's on a hill. Look right across, you'll see a bunch of stuff there on a grave. That's a gentleman that played the drill sergeant in Gomer Pyle, USMC, United States Marine Corps, the TV show in the 60s and 50s, 60s, I think it was. I think it was 50s or 60s. I don't know what it was. Probably a little what it was. But yeah, he was buried there too. He's interned there as well. And there's a statue of him actually down in Clarksville. He was born in Clarksville, Tennessee, so it's pretty interesting that my mother has literally, an overlook of his. It's weird though. But and I used to drive around after I see my mother and look at stuff like that because a lot of people, probably don't even see their family members' graves anymore. And it's like, I don't get out and pay respect. I just drive around and see, but it seems kind of weird, but topic, but a conversation to have about this. But I want people to understand that I don't just visit my mom's grave. I do visit for about 10 to 30 minutes. Um, I talk to her and I check around. I clean stuff up. The baskets move with the wind. The baskets move when the wind knocks the basket around a little bit. I make sure they're all right. I say goodbye, mom, and I drive around a little bit and I leave. I usually go to her grave. I usually leave. I don't usually drive around that much, but sometimes I do. I do a little bit just to clear my head and just to understand. Hey, I saw my mother and to clear my head. And but yeah, guys, that's really the grief process is real. May not a lot of you will drive around the graveyard and stare at the graves, like I did. But I did because, like I said, I'm a Civil War nut. I love Civil War. I love, but I also just want to see who's in charge too as well. Not because I'm a morbid person. No, I'm not a morbid person. I'm a very normal person. I'm not morbid. It's just, to me, paying respects to everybody else too as well is not a bad thing. the people buried there, may not have family that's there anymore. Especially if they've been dead for above 100 years. I just drive by and look. Oh, well, okay, interesting. I drive by and look around. I don't take pictures and stuff because it's kind of weird. Uh, I'll take pictures if I know my headstone, of course, for archives, of course, only. No, my mother's only. And our main headstone will be just the only one I'll take pictures of at all, and whatever whoever else gets added to that list. People, if I'm there, then family to take a picture of my headstone. It sounds weird, morbid, but it's just. So, how to deal with grief? You just got to roll with it. That's all you can do is roll with it, guys. This is the first video of many I'm gonna be making. Today is September 1st or 2nd right now, but it's the first time I've started this video. Each week, I'm gonna make a video title here: "Suicide Death. Who Does It Hurt?" New series. I won't have new series. I'll have season 1, episode 2 be the next one, and the next one will be um, mm, more about mental illness and more about probably it's gonna be something about suicide or death, obviously. And I need to be a morbid channel. I'm not a morbid channel at all, but probably be about a child passing away. You know, who does it hurt? I've had friends who are adults who lost their children, car accidents, suicide, murder, house fire. I mean, it's very tasteful, tasteless, but people need to hear these videos. People need to watch these videos and hear this stuff. Even if you play my voice in background on YouTube Premium and you listen to my fat rambling voice, that may help you understand what people go through. So next week would be about who does it hurt. Uh, season 1, episode 2 would be a loss of a child. That would be episode 2. Then episode 3 would be um, more or less, death in general. And the final week will be about suicide itself. So I have a list here of my paper I'm looking at right now. Now I may change it around a little bit, but it's a program that I started that I actually wrote out and looking at right now. It's right here on the keyboard. I don't want to mess around too much with the keys here, but I wanted you guys to know that I'm thinking about you guys and you guys who have mental illnesses. And I don't even know who you are. You guys know who you are. And you have problems and you have things. There's help. If you lost a parent like I did, there's help. A church pastor, you know, a work counselor, people can help you. Okay, and I'm gonna say it's at the end of the video this month. If you or somebody you know is suffering from mental illness and they have thoughts of suicide or harming themselves or harming anybody else, seek help. If you're at school and someone threatening to do something to school, seek help. Tell a police officer, tell a school counselor. If you're at home and you're threatening to hurt yourself, there is help for you. You are special. You're created for a reason. There's no accidents. And when it comes to God, the Lord doesn't create accidents. The Lord doesn't create problems. He solves every problem. So go out there and be the best you can. If you fail at life, you know what? Maybe what you're going for was not what God had in plan for you. Maybe working at that gas station or working at that Denny's or working at McDonald's is your path. You never know. You might find out that that path has more financial freedom than you could ever understand. But you have to trust in God. You have to trust in something higher than yourself. But believe in yourself as well. Believe in yourself that you can do anything you want to do. And if you fail, get back up and keep marching. The worst thing you can do is stop and just tread water. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you, Mom. I love you. Lord, take care of her. See you again. Peace out, everybody.